Hey guys, this is the first video of me answering your questions. I'm going to try to do this as much as possible. I'm going to try to get every question answered for you guys that I can. Again, I don't want to offend anybody. If I do, I apologize right now. I'm going to answer these questions honestly and do the best job I can. And I got about 15 minutes here to do it. And I'll get as many answered as possible. If I don't get to your question tonight, I'll get to them as soon as possible, and I plan on answering every question. Some of you send in more than one question, and that's fine. And like I said, I'll do my best to get to them. And I'm going to start with this one about you preach about how it used to be. Why can't we have legit top finishers in each qualifier tournaments, and they are the ones that play in the state tournament? Well, if we did that, to be honest with you, our state tournaments would be less in numbers. In reality, your state tournaments should be your biggest tournaments, other than world, I guess, because you got so many states that can qualify for the world. But state tournaments should have big numbers, and if we will follow that criteria the way that it used to be, there would be less teams in your state tournaments. And again, we're not talking about an era that has the number of teams that it used to have either. We can talk and all of us get on the same page as much as possible, but the bottom line is there's just not as many people, as many teams as softball as there used to be. It's not even close. It's in every association. It's everywhere you go. People have other things that they can do. It's not the same as when a high school guy got out of playing high school. If he didn't go play college ball, he started playing softball. It just doesn't work that way anymore. Again, you can't force things like the way they used to be. When I'm talking about the old days, I'm talking about players' attitude. I'm talking about when you would, we we would go places knowing full well we had no chance of winning, and it seems like that mentality is not as strong as it used to be. Now, I'm not going to call anybody names or say you're less than a man or challenge your manhood just because I think that you should go out and play better competition every once in a while. If you don't do that, that's your choice. Okay? That's when I talk about the old school mentality and the old school ways was, you would go to tournaments. To me, there's 6 tournaments in Kentucky that everybody should play in no matter what, no matter whether they can go 0-2 or win the whole thing. And I think all of Kentucky should play in Border Wars. I think they should all play in the LIT. I think everybody should play in the Hooters. I think everybody should play in the Thoroughbred. I think everybody should play in the East versus West. And I think everybody should play in the county community. And that's just my personal opinion, because that's 6, 7 good tournaments that you can have big numbers, and that's a good season. Now, granted, 2 of them are over here, but also 2 of them are on y'all's end too. Actually, 3 of them: Thoroughbred, East versus West, and the Hooters. And I think everybody should get together and budget their money to be able to go to those tournaments. And that's the best answer I can give you right now. You can't do the districts and regionals until we get softball built back up in numbers. And that's part of the reason why Apple and I are doing this county community thing with you guys, because that's the way softball used to be. You couldn't just play with anybody. It was regionalized, and you had to play within a certain area, and that's how you played. And many of you right now have never been part of that, and you don't like the idea of it because you've never played it. Well, I've been on both sides of the fence. I've been on the side of the fence that you had to qualify for state. Now now you don't have to. It would be nice to be able to go back to that, but the numbers won't let us. I mean, it's just not that way anymore. And again, I know that's not what people want to hear, but softball, these associations, they are a business, and they are there to make money. And that's why you don't see every association getting on the same page, because the lesser association, whatever association it is in that area, they have to have something that's appealing to them so that you won't stay with one strong association, one strong director. Um, if everything's equal, they know that they're going to get left out, whoever that may be. So again, that's a good question, but in reality, right now, it just can't work. It just won't do it. I got another question here about why does NSA bump teams up only to give them an appeal? Then certain teams get to go back down, and certain teams get stuck playing up, which in many players and teams' opinion is totally unfair. On mandatory bumps, that's out of any director's hand, no matter what state it is. They get bumped, and if they don't drop below the number of players, they can't come back down. Let's take, for instance, BUS. They probably should have been able to play C this year based on the way that they played. And our hands were tied because they never could get under the number of players. And, that's just the case there, for instance, that it's just the way it is. I mean, it's the bylaws for every state. So they couldn't drop because they couldn't get below the number of players that was needed to let them play in the C ranks. Again, if you bump a team based off a state bump, if the director feels like they made a mistake and they shouldn't have been bumped up there, then that allows them to let them drop back down. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they don't. I don't think in our state that anybody bumps teams out of spite or other than professional reasons. That's bad business. I mean, again, you got so many options these days to go do other things that we're not really in a position to be trying to make teams angry. It may seem like that from time to time, and if your team is one of the teams that's bumped and you don't like it, I can understand you thinking that it's unfair. I thought it was unfair in 2007 when I had to play B, when Softball Times and BFI both got to play C, and they both better than me. But, we played it. We did what we were told. The NSA had it right. We were a competitive B team. We wasn't a dominant B team, but we competed. We had an above 500 record, and Mr. Horton and NSA got it right. As bad as I hate to say it, they were right. Now, you take for what happened with BUS this year, didn't go well for them. They had a bad year. And, hopefully things and Wes and those guys will get to, play in the C division next year or whatever division we have. Which leads me into the other question that I was asked, do I think NSA is going to go to 3 divisions next year? I don't know. I'll know more at the convention. I know there's a lot of talk. Then again, it's going to come down to everybody voting and going from there and then deciding which way to go, because everybody's going to have their different opinions. I don't think business-wise that you can combine the B and C and it still make any difference as far as the B and C teams. That still would only give us a 500-team division based on numbers now. And that doesn't count the C teams that are trying to bust up and go D for next year that they're already trying to go down. And again, if you sit there and you tell everybody no, 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 then you get into this, well, you let them, you didn't let me, you're showing favoritism, I've got 3, who says that you know what you're doing? I mean, those kind of conversations go on constantly, guys. It's something that it's an everyday conversation, to be honest with you, regardless whether it's Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Mississippi, where I had to do some tournaments this year. And, again, I would tell you, because I'm, y'all know that I watch wrestling, and I'm kind of like Stone Cold and CM Punk. I'm going to say what I got to say, and then they can forgive me later. I don't even know that they're going to agree that I do these videos, but I'm going to do them because I want to build a relationship with you guys and hear what you've got to say and go a direction that makes softball better. I grew up on softball, and I got in trouble because I would go play double headers, baseball in college, leave after games roll with and go down to Madisonville, Kentucky and play co-ed or play men's ball or whatever. And my coach, he could tell it in my swing, and I'd constantly get in trouble. But again, you know, softball's in my blood, and we all know that right now softball favors D&E players, and that's not just NSA. That's every association. Um, you know, 17 teams down there in Alabama for the Southern C. 17 teams for a world. That's pathetic. I mean, that's just it's just pathetic. I mean, I can't say nothing else. That's just pathetic. But again, I got more questions that I'm going to get to at another time. I hope I helped with those questions. Again, I will answer more later. Um, like I said, guys, call me, email me, PM me, and I'll answer all the questions, and I'll try to be a voice for you guys as much as possible. Some of the things you ask are unrealistic. Some of the things are worth talking about. And there's, like I said, there's quite a few questions here that I got to get to, and I will. And I'll put the time and effort for you guys to answer them all. And if you have any questions about what I talked about tonight, go ahead and send an email and ask again. I'm not always right. I want to be, and you know, we all want to be right all the time. But just so you know, for the record, I feel like Sonya, Apple, and Kenny are doing the best that they can, and myself included. You know, all I can tell you is there's got to be some kind of middle point. Since some of you think that it's the director's fault, I don't think it's the director's fault. Now, I'm not speaking on NSA when I say that. I'm saying Mickey Blue. That's not NSA's opinion. I'm not speaking for NSA on that one. But that will be the question that I tackle the next time in my next video. The question that it was sent me was, why doesn't NSA take some responsibility of the blame for the loss of the number of teams from B and C class instead of continuing to blame the players? I will hit on that on the next video. That'll be the first question that I talk about. And it may take up the whole time because it's not a 3 or 4 sentence answer. But again, that will be Mickey Blue's answer, not NSA's. Again, guys, I hope this will be beneficial. I hope we learn from it. I learned some things from you guys. You guys learned some things from me. And we get going to getting softball back the way what it used to be and how we all loved it for everybody, no matter how talented you were. Have a great night. Go watch Raw. God bless.